Nigeria. It is a beautiful Monday morning, and right here on Dominion Television, we serve it hot. This is Daybreak Live, Monday, the 8th of December, 2025. And I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun, navigating today's ride through the stories shaping the pulse of a nation.
And I am Samson Balogu. Whether you are rising with the sun, settling into work, or tuning in from comfort of your home, we are here to deliver clarity, context, and the conversation that matter. It's another morning where we facts meet insights, and insights spark understanding.
Definitely. We begin this morning with the latest update on security issues as the Nigerian government secures the release of 100 kidnapped school children in Niger. What was the negotiation process like? How were they released? We'll break down the background and the implications of this crisis.
All right, after that, we'll give you the weather update and then dive into Daybreak News. Crisp, reliable thought through the top stories from across Nigeria and around the world. Then we'll flip the papers for our newspaper review and analysis where the big headlines meet sharper interpretation.
Definitely. And after that, today's big story takes us through the spate of coup d'etat and counter-coup in Africa as we discuss who really holds power in Africa between the military and democratic government. To dig deep into the story, we're joined by Honorable Molaja Olaoye, who will help us trace the route, interrogate the present, and forecast the leadership curve ahead in Nigeria and Africa as a whole.
And of course, we round things off with Trend Watch this morning, spotlighting everything buzzing online, sparking conversations and shaping public sentiment nationwide.
Wherever you're watching from, settle in as this is your morning companion for depth, clarity, and perspective.
All right, you are tuned in to Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. So, let's get it started.
Definitely. Good morning, Samson.
Good
Happy
morning to
new
you. Well, it's a new week anyway, so
Yeah.
a lot is happening on the pages of the newspaper. And as people were slowing down over the weekend, headlines are refused to slow down. Definitely, that's what you expect. And the federal government of Nigeria actually came and said, look, we have secured the release of 100 more of the kidnapped 215 people in Niger State at it's a private Catholic school right in Niger State. All in all, there were 303 students there and 12 teachers who were kidnapped at the time. And then just immediately after that, I think it was the following day, 50 of them escaped from captivity, and the rest of them were left there. So 100 of them are now back with their families. That's a good one anyway. At least those ones who have to reunite with their families. But one thing I'm usually scared of as regards how kidnapped victims are released, most of the times, they don't get to come back in their whole numbers, and that's really something that baffles me. What exactly is the process? Just like we were saying during the introduction, what exactly is the process of securing the release of abductees, and what exactly should the government be doing differently at this time? Yeah. Even though so many people are frowning at negotiations, you don't negotiate with bandits, terrorists, and kidnappers. What has to be done is to be done, and especially when it comes to how releases are secured. Some people they are released, and by the federal government they get secured, and then you begin to wonder what exactly happened to people who actually brought them. Were they kidnappers? Were they dropped at a particular point and then you went to pick them? Was there money involved? Did money exchange hand? And what are the things involved? People really want to know exactly what is going on. Yeah. Because as it stands, no one has actually come out to say, look, we have arrested 2 or 3 of the people who orchestrated this particular kidnapper saga in a particular place in Niger State, or maybe in Nasarawa or Yola. But people want to know exactly what the process looks like.
Honestly, I think you're very spot on, because when I heard the news too, I was a bit surprised to see that one question that I'm asking, and I think some Nigerians are also asking, is why are they being released in batches?
In batches.
Because, I mean, there's a BBC Pigeon team that actually reported something recently to say that you see those 50 persons that came back home the next day, they were initially not kidnapped. Maybe they ran outside of the school to find shelter, and then they came back. When they saw that, you know, everything was already calm. So it's sad that, you know, the 50 were released first, and then we are hearing about 100. We still have about 163 students there, about 12 teachers. 153 students, I beg your pardon, and 12 teachers there. I don't know, they've not released any of the teachers, and I just are asking. I recall that recently, this new defense minister mentioned something to say that, you know, one of the things he wants to put in place is to ensure that, you know, no more negotiation, no more, you know, paying of ransom. I want to believe that is on this matter, to find out, you know, how the students were released. And then I think a major general was on TV yesterday, that's John Eneche. And he was saying that it doesn't matter how they were released, that the major thing is the fact that the children are being released back to their parents. But Nigerians want to know, because we want to be sure that we are not doing the wrong thing. We are not, making deals with these bandits, deals that can come back, you know, to haunt us. We want to be sure that we are doing the right thing to ensure that these people are released. Yes, the parents are going to be very happy to see that they are being released. And he also mentioned something that he thinks that it is bad enough that the military operatives are being reactive rather than proactive, because why should they be kidnapped in the first place? Now that they've been released to us, we still have over 150 students there with this bandit. How do we ensure they are released to? How do we ensure that something like this will not happen again in Niger State? These are the things that we should begin to look at, honestly. And then the government can just communicate, because this is one of the problems that we experience in this country. Government, you know, fails to communicate, you know, properly to the citizens. So they just tell us, we release them. What happened? How? Two of the parents, I even read a story where they mentioned that, you know, they had an information that, you know, one of the vehicles of the bandit, you know, had an issue at some point. How did they get to know? If the parents of the students and their maybe neighbors, you know, have certain information that the government doesn't have, is it not sad? So how is it that the government is not even properly informed about how the students are being released? It's really sad, honestly.
Well, I think one of the challenges we have is that the security architecture in Nigeria right now is so weak that we are beginning to misinterpret or misplace what priorities should look like and what roles these military, paramilitary, and some other bodies are to play in the society. On the flip side, there are so many people who think, oh, the soldiers really should not be the ones to be saddled with the responsibility of getting back kidnapped students or children out there, or even people out there. That it should be the job of the police, the NSCDC, and some other people. It's a civil case, and the soldiers normally, the Nigerian army, should focus on defending the country against external attacks, which is right by the constitution. But unfortunately, Nigeria is in a sorry state in terms of security, and they would have to help in that particular area. And another thing you said earlier about General Musa, who said, look, we are done with negotiation. Yes, he's right. And then NHS saying, oh, look, it doesn't matter how they came back to their families, but then all that matters is that they are coming back. You see, that for me is a statement that should be underlined. I mean, that statement emboldens criminals to do more. Now, just imagine a criminal sect who had the capacity of kidnapping 300 school children, and then you pay them maybe 1 billion naira to set them free. You have practically given them the opportunity, or maybe you have given them the capital to kidnap 1,000 when next they want to do or go on rampage and kidnap more students. So it shows that we are only giving them money. We are paying them to kidnap more students. So that for me should stop. And one of the challenges we have always had in Nigeria, just like you mentioned earlier, is not just about now. It's not just about kidnaps. It's about the fact that each time anything happens in Nigeria, we don't prepare for the next time. Yes, it's bad enough that it happened once, but it's so bad that it has been repeating itself. This is not the first time we are having kidnap of school children. Remember the issue of Chibok during the regime of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Also some other places across the country where, you know, bandits or kidnappers would just go into schools, pack children into buses, and then drive them into the bushes. And someone somewhere will tell me, you don't know where they passed. I mean, it's not just one person. If it was just one person that was kidnapped, you would say, oh, probably they were hiding in plain sight. But how do you keep 300 or 315 people in plain sight? It's impossible. So there was a route that was passed. Then someone somewhere knows exactly what happened there. Who is answering questions? I don't think anyone has been grilled after the kidnap. It's just, oh, let's just get them back. If we continue this way, which is business as usual, I think Nigeria is sitting firmly on a keg of gunpowder, because this will become a recurrent issue, and then we'll continue to have kidnaps over and over again, and then we'll begin to react. It is time for us to now act before we should be proactive about things. Yeah. I think there was a time when the policy was to be introduced about, oh, NSCDC officials guarding schools across the country, I don't know what happened at the end of the day where it didn't see the light of the day. But now is the time for us to rise up and do the right thing. Now, you can imagine what those children who were kidnapped will be going through right now, emotionally. In fact, their time is being wasted. And during the case of the Chibok girls, some of them did not make it back to their parents. Some of them died. Some of them are still in captivity till now. So what will be the fate of this current set of children who have just been kidnapped? So it's a crisis on our hand that really needs solving.
Yeah, and I think some Nigerians, because online, some Nigerians are even following the pattern to say that, okay, if 50 came back the first time, 100 came back the second time, maybe we should be expecting 150 to come back the third time. But we are really not sure. And then a cleric said something yesterday. He said that in a country where citizens are complaining of poverty, no money, bandits are flashing heavy cash online, and you begin to wonder. I think it's counterproductive, because if you say we want to end banditry and terrorism, but then you keep giving them money to get arms, money that even the military apparatus do not have access to. We are still talking about finance, and then the defense minister is training. He wants to ensure that the military will get enough resources to get arms so that they can, tackle these people. But then you keep empowering these people through cash. As a matter of fact, I don't know, he's doing something to their ego. I don't know if you've seen videos online, and they'll come out to say that, okay, we did not release, your government had nothing to do with it too. It was we wanted to
on our own volition.
Honestly, so he's doing a lot to them, and it's actually very sad. And then speaking about the 153 that we see have, in their custody and the students, okay, how do we ensure that they also come out? Because I want to believe that even after this Niger attack, another attack has happened recently, right, and then a lot of persons were kidnapped. Not even school children alone, adults, clerics. I think a wife and a husband was killed recently. They were abducted and they were killed recently. What happened to those ones? So it is a problem to see that, the government is trying, honestly, because we've seen cases whereby recently the president approved, new recruits, okay, get this, get that, he appointed a new defense minister and all of those things. He even changed some service chiefs, recently. So we are seeing what they are doing, but then we just need to communicate more, because you think that maybe citizens do not really have much to do. But then they will not speak up on things that they know to, because they know the government is also hiding a lot of things. I want to believe that there are people who know the things that the government can do, but they are waiting for the government to also come out to communicate so that they can be able to help in some way, because there are persons who are very intelligent and they know how we can tackle this aside from the military persons, but then the government must also come out playing.
I think one of the things you must also look at is the implementation of using technology to track these people down. And we have seen how well technology can be of help to this issue of kidnapping, banditry across the country, especially the use of drones. But unfortunately, I still think we are a few steps behind when it comes to the use of technology. And in terms of resources, I think we have it. I think we have what it takes to get it done. But unfortunately, it's the political power that is not there. Maybe the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at this point, he had a closed-door meeting. I think that was last week. He had a closed-door meeting with all service chiefs, including the newly sworn-in Minister of Defense, General Musa, and saying, look, these are things you have to do. Though the full details of the meeting was not made public, but definitely it has to do with the security of the country. Now, it's becoming more and more of a problem that every region has something they are battling with. We were talking about cattle farmer adder crisis a few months ago in the southwest, and in north, of course, we are talking about the issue of banditry, kidnappings, and some other things. And it is becoming more and more of a problem that kidnapping is no longer a case of one region in the country. There used to be a time when kidnapping happened so much in the southeast, and now it is something of the southwest. Recently, a broadcaster was kidnapped in Ibadan. And till now, nobody knows our whereabouts, and it's becoming a problem. So a politician was also kidnapped on Akala Express right here in Ibadan. I think that happened last week on the same day. So should broadcasters also now be worried about their safety when it comes to what is going on in the country? So if that is being extended to the southwest, kidnapping now knows nobody, knows no region. So we should face it head on. And it's a good thing that the southwest governors came together and said, look, it is time for us to do what we call state policing, something that some of them were vehemently against it before now, but then they realized it is time and they need it at this time. Also, the inflow of people from one state to another really needs to be checked. You don't even know these people. Are they well documented? Are they Nigerians? Where are they coming from? Where are they going? And what exactly are they going there to do? You must be able to express yourself and tell people, oh, I'm going from Ibadan or your state, I'm going to Ogun State, and this is exactly what I want to do. Nobody is stopping you from moving from one state to the other. As long as you are a Nigerian, you carry a Nigerian passport or means of identification, nobody should stop you. But you must have a valid or cogent reason for moving from one state to the other. You see people on a truck, and you begin to wonder, where are these people coming from? You see them, and you are really scared for yourself about if they continue to move in this way and they activate their sleeper cells across the country. What will happen when the country now start to react instead of being proactive at this time when this thing is already happening?
Yes, and I also think that a lady posted a video yesterday and she said 18 bus passenger, I think along Kaba, 18 of them were kidnapped recently. And then you begin to wonder, this is festive period, because originally, even before all this insecurity became very intense, you know, they will advise you that if you must travel during this festive period, ensure that you go early, ensure that you don't travel at night. So now that the festive period is around, and then these people will know that a lot of persons want to travel, you know, go to their village, go to their hometown. I think citizens must, you know, guide themselves, you know, properly. If there's no need for you to travel like that, you can just relax at home. Next year you can travel.
If you cannot afford to go by here, you can go by train.
Exactly.
At least, I think those are still safer than any other means of transportation.
It's just that, you know, going by air is very expensive. And
that's why I said if you cannot afford to go by air,
it.
you can go by train.
Yeah, by train. Or even if train is not possible, you can just sit back at home and maybe you go next year. There's always a next time. Because, I mean, the situation is very dire now. And then these people, I'm very sure they're already planning how to operate at this period, because they know that a lot of persons will travel. So this is one thing that the government should even look into the more, because I want to believe that shielding these people is not doing us any good, you know, honestly. If anything, it has escalated the problem. So they need to come out publicly and then follow what that new defense minister said, that no more negotiation, no more ransom, because we keep empowering these people by giving them cash and all of those things. If you can ensure that, I mean, in no time, US, for instance, now, you mentioned something about technology. I think the major thing that helped them solve insecurity is technology, and they know how to use it properly. And that's why they are saying they will come to Nigeria gonna blaze, because they know they've done it before. So we just need to learn from them instead of focusing on our resources that a lot of Nigerians don't even have access to. Honestly, it's a sad one.
Well, it's a very sad one, but it's a convenient place to leave that topic this morning. And we do hope that the government does something really interesting about that and make sure that the lives and properties of Nigerian people are safe, especially at this time, the festive season. Now we take weather report on the show. This morning I will be starting from Ogun State, Abeokuta in Ogun State. This morning, weather in Abeokuta currently feels like 26 degrees Celsius, and it is currently cloudy in Abeokuta this morning, and later in the morning it will rise 4 notches to 30 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy in Abeokuta, and it will remain mostly cloudy in the afternoon at 34 degrees Celsius. It will drop to 27 degrees Celsius in the evening, partly cloudy, and remain partly cloudy overnight at 25 degrees Celsius overnight in Abeokuta today.
All right, let's cross over to Osogbo, Osun this morning. Weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius, and later this morning is expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 1%. In the afternoon, 34 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 0%. In the evening, 26 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 5%. And overnight, 24 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 11%. That's what we have for Osogbo, Osun State this morning.
All right, we move on to the Center of Excellence, which is Lagos State this morning. Weather in Lagos currently feels like 31 degrees Celsius this morning. And later in the morning, there will be showers at 29 degrees Celsius, 40% of that in Lagos this morning. And it will be mostly cloudy in the afternoon at 30 degrees Celsius. 28 degrees Celsius will be partly cloudy in the evening and drop to 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy overnight in Lagos today.
All right, let's cross over to Ibadan, Southwest Oyo this morning. Weather feels like 25 degrees Celsius. Later this morning is expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 3%. In the afternoon, 34 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 19%. In the evening, 26 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 6%. And overnight, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 9%. That's what we have for Ibadan this morning.
All right, moving on to the southeast this morning, we take weather report from Anambra this morning. Weather currently feels like 24 degrees Celsius in Anambra, and later in the morning it will rise to 29 degrees Celsius, cloudy in Anambra State this morning. And by afternoon, it will be around 34 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. It will be partly cloudy in the evening at 27 degrees Celsius and mostly cloudy overnight at 24 degrees Celsius in Anambra East this morning.
All right, let's cross over to Enugu. Weather this morning feels like 21 degrees Celsius, and later this morning is expected to rise to 26 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 2%. In the afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 24%. In the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 8%. Overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 9%. That's what we have for Enugu this morning.
All right, moving on, we'll take weather reports from the north central this morning and talking about Niger, Suleja in Niger State. Weather is currently fair in Suleja at 22 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning, it will rise to 30 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. It will remain mostly cloudy in the afternoon and evening at 34 and 26 degrees Celsius, respectively. And same overnight, mostly cloudy at 22 degrees Celsius in Suleja, Niger State today.
All right, let's cross over to Sokoto North. Weather this morning feels like 18 degrees Celsius. Later this morning is expected to rise to 25 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny, around 0%. In the afternoon, 31 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 0%. In the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 0% as well. Overnight, 20 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 0% as well. That's what we have for Sokoto this morning.
Right. Lastly, we'll take weather report from Kaduna, North Kaduna State this morning. As weather currently feels like 18 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy right there in Kaduna. And later in the morning, it will rise to 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. It will be partly cloudy in the afternoon at 31 degrees Celsius, while it will be clear in the evening at 22 degrees Celsius, and then partly cloudy at 18 degrees Celsius overnight in Kaduna, Kaduna North this morning. And that will be all we can take on weather reports this morning. Thank you for being a part of the show. So far, do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Do well to leave us a comment on our YouTube and Facebook channel while we are live, and we'll take that comment on the show at Dominion Broadcast. Now we go on a short break. When we return, we take the news. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Good morning. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I'm Uluwayemi Adelakun. The National Security Advisor, NSA, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, has said that he hosted a United States congressional delegation on a fact-finding mission in Nigeria. The meeting with the U.S. delegation followed earlier consultations with Nigerian officials in Washington, D.C. According to Ribadu, the delegation was led by Mario Diaz-Balart and included Norma Torres, Scott Franklin, Juan Siscomani, and Rylan Moore. He added that the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, was also present at the meeting. He expressed confidence that the engagement would strengthen trust, enhance collaboration, and reinforce shared commitment to peace and security. The federal government has established 119 learning centers across the country to improve access to foundational education for both Almajiri learners and out-of-school children. The spokesperson for the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Education, Nura Mohammed, disclosed this in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. Mohammed said the centers operate in two models. Some supports existing Almajiri schools with structured literacy and numeracy classes, while others cater exclusively for out-of-school children using the Accelerated Basic Education Program curriculum. He said the approach enables learners to complete foundational education within a much shorter period. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has released detailed guidelines for the 2026 United Tertiary Matriculation Examination registration process, along with a list of common challenges candidates may encounter. The announcement made via the official JAMB ex-ando aims to assist prospective candidates in preparing for the upcoming registration. The JAMB 2026 UTME form will be on sale from Saturday, January 31st, 2026 until Sunday, March 8, 2026. The All Progressives Congress, APC, has announced new date for its upcoming National Caucus and National Executive Committee meetings. This is according to an official notice signed by the APC National Secretary, Senator Ajibola Bashir, and shared on the party's website. The party disclosed that the National Caucus meeting has been shifted to Thursday, 18th December 2025, and will now be held by 6 p.m. Similarly, the National Executive Committee NEC meeting has been rescheduled to Friday, 19th December 2025, with proceedings expected to commence by 3 p.m. Both meetings are set to take place at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Alaafin of Oyo, His Imperial Majesty Oba Abimbola Akeem Owadi I has felicitated with the Oni of Ife Obadiah Enito Ogunwusi Ojaja II on his 10th coronation anniversary. Alaafin, in a statement issued by his Director of Media and Publicity, Bode Durujai, in Oyo Town, said on behalf of all the Yoruba traditional rulers that he joined the indigents of the Oyo Kingdom, the government and the people of Osun State in celebrating the monarch. He commended the Oni for his sense of commitment and resilience in ruling over his people. Oba Owadi affirmed that his exposure, knowledge and charisma before ascending the position will go a long way in imparting and expanding the influence of the domain. And in business, the federal government has assured investors and stakeholders that concerns surrounding the capital gains tax will be thoroughly addressed before Nigeria's new tax laws take effect on January 1st, 2026. Chairman of the National Tax Policy Implementation Committee, Joseph Tegbe, gave the assurance during the committee's inauguration in Abuja. The pledge comes amid strong pushback from businesses and investors over the planned increase of the CGT to 30% as stipulated in the amended Nigerian Tax Act. And in sports this morning, Vice President of the Egyptian Football Association, FA, Khalid El Daradanli, has announced a new date for the international friendly between the Pharaohs and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The pre-2025 Africa Cup of Nations friendly, which was earlier scheduled to hold on Sunday, 14th December, will now take place on Tuesday, 16th December. El Daradanli confirmed to Egyptian website Haram. The match was moved to ensure the availability of players following FIFA's decision to shift the release date of players for the AFCON. It will be held at the Cairo International Stadium. The AFCON 2025 finals will run from 21st December to 18th January 2026 in Morocco. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That's the Daybreak News. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun saying thank you for watching and good morning.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Newspaper Headlines and Analysis. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun. This morning, let's start from The Guardian. I have this banner headline that says, Relief in Cotonou has NAV a joint force to repel coup plotters in Benin Republic. Yesterday, I think a couple of soldiers went on Benin State TV to announce the dissolution of the government, suspension of the constitution, and of course, I think it's led by a certain Lieutenant Colonel that came out to say that, okay, we are suspending the constitution, we are taking over. And according to those soldiers, they are coming to effect what they referred to as refoundation. A committee was set up and the Lieutenant General is in charge of that committee. Away from that headline, we also have this one that says the federal government secured the release of 100 abducted Niger school children. And of course, a lot of parents were happy elated, if you like it, while others, Nigerians in question, are asking to say that how did they secure the release of those children and how are they going to secure the release of others? About 153 students, 12 teachers are still with the bandit or terrorist, if you like. Away from that headline, I have this one that says, Benue farmers lament the cry crashing food prices is a problem, especially in a state where we refer to as the food basket of the nation. What is going on in that state? Away from the headline, we also need to talk about this one that says, PDP faction most convention host meeting in Wike's residence. It appears that PDP is still struggling to put its house in order. But then, I don't know, a lot of persons, a lot of candidates who were willing to contest on the PDP, are unable to do so because of the internal wranglings. And we don't know at what point will PDP, we put all of this behind them and push forward for the next general elections. It's a sad one because, I think a resignation or a suspension, as far as I've seen, it's not going to be a suspension. Expulsion letters were served to the persons that were expelled recently at the National Convention that was held in Ibadan. Away from that line, I also have this one that says, again, ABA Group dominates 2025 Banker Award. CAC to short illegal POS operators, orders registration by January 1st. I think it's a good development because we've seen some persons just use these POS business to perpetrate all sorts of evil, scam people and the likes. It's a good one. That they want to start this. Away from The Guardian, let's travel to Daily Trust this morning. I have a headline that says, why coups are unsettling West Africa. Sometimes on this show I mention the fact that there is something wrong with Africa in general and then we need to begin to pin it on West Africa, because a lot is going on. Recently we saw Guinea-Bissau, the coup that happened about Mbalo, how it was deposed, and then recently we are seeing the coup in Benin. Do not forget that, Benin used to be a colony of France, and of course they got independence in 1960, and then they experienced relative peace, if you ask me, right until 1991, but then they also experienced some sudden coups, along that area, and then even in 1991 down to today, I think they've experienced, certain level of peace. But then from 1960 to 1991, maybe there were several coups here and there, successful ones and unsuccessful ones. But then seeing this certain coup in Benin at this time, I don't think it's a good one because it sends some certain signals to other West African states, even Africa as a general, even Africa in general. But then there's something we also need to talk about, the fact that the authorities came out yesterday, after the announcement, to say that they've been able to nip it in the bud, and then the coup was unsuccessful. But then how sure are we that other soldiers, well-meaning soldiers with high ranks, will not come up again to say we want to take over the government? It's something we need to look at, honestly. Away from that headline, I also have this one that says a bandits Q7 in Sokoto communities. This is a sad one. What you should know about non-interest mortgage in Nigeria. That's another headline. And we have this one that says a genocide. U.S. lawmakers visit Nigeria on fact-finding mission. A delegate arrived in Nigeria recently, and of course they are here to get fact. And I think they started off with Benue State. They want to get to know what is going on, especially the Yewata massacre, where hundreds of persons were massacred. Apart from the Benue incidents, we also have recent attacks in Kwara State. We have recent attacks in Kebbi, in Niger. A lot of things have happened over the few months and few weeks in Nigeria. And of course, I want to believe that this is the reason why the United States decided to send a delegate to Nigeria. And don't forget that these people, they want to find out about all the truth, regardless of how some persons may decide to hide some truth away from them. Away from that line, I also have this one that says Imosu's hotel mortuary over alleged organ harvesting. It's a sad one that people still engage in such businesses in Nigeria at this point in time. Let's cross over to this day. I have this headline that says ADC to Obi, make up your mind now. Atiku visits Jonathan at Abuja. I saw videos online yesterday, pictures if you like. I think Atiku even posted on his social media platforms to say that, I visited the former president of this country. And then they had some discussions. Whether he has anything to do with the next elections or not, we really cannot tell. But there were some pictures online, videos, as well. Away from that line, I also have this one that says, presidency, our Tinubu ordered Nigeria's military to foil a Benin coup. Yes, we also read a story yesterday of how Tinubu ordered the military to foil the Benin coup. And of course, some persons, Nigerians, concerned Nigerians, came out to say that, okay, this one that Tinubu has done, will it not backfire? Will it not affect Nigeria as a country? But then he sent them, and some persons are saying maybe it's because of the relationship Tinubu has with Emmanuel Macron of France. That was why he did that. And do not forget that I mentioned that Benin used to be a colony of France, and up to now we still have, if you go to Benin, you are still going to witness some relics of colonialism in France, especially some buildings. Even Frenchmen are still living in Benin, even till today. Away from that line, we also have this one that says that France offers help to defeat terrorism. Ribadu meets U.S. Congressman. 100 children released in Niger. And of course, I think, the president of France also, had a discussion or made some claims, to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that we are going to help you in every way we can to ensure that, you curb insecurity as a whole. And of course, Ribadu also met with U.S. Congressman. 100 children released in Niger. We are still expecting more to be released. Away from this day, let's cross over to the Punch newspaper. I have this headline that says that security crisis, Tinubu Macron hold talks as U.S. fact finders arrive. U.S. delegation meets NSA, visit Benue. I think I mentioned that before. Nigeria, France, high security pact. Bandit release 100 Niger pupils. I mentioned some Nigerians are saying, why is it that Tinubu ordered, the military men should invade Benin to put an end to the coup? Maybe it's because of the relationship between Tinubu and Emmanuel Macron of France. Don't forget that Macron also made some statement to say, we are going to help you curb insecurity in your country. Whether this coup has ended for good, we really cannot tell. Because I read a story yesterday where some of the soldiers, when they got to know that, it has gotten out of hand, a lot of them had to change back to their civilian clothes because they don't want to be arrested. As a matter of fact, even the person who started this whole coup thing fled the country. We really cannot say where he is currently. I'm speaking of Lieutenant Colonel Tigris now. We really cannot say where he is as we're speaking now. Speaking of the president, Talon, a lot of persons are saying he's safe, but then we have really not heard much about his whereabouts. Away from that headline, let's talk about this one that says PDP crisis, wicked block plans, state Congress's National Convention. Is there an end to the crisis in PDP? It's a question that people are tired of answering, actually. Away from that headline, I have this one that says defection rumors rise as Fubara faces mountain assembly fire. Is there an end to the problem that Fubara is going to face while in office? It's a problem. It's for someone that just returned to office as the governor of that state. What is going on within the assembly is something we need to talk about, really. Let's move away from that and talk about this headline that says Anambra prison inmate wins International Whistleblower Award. That's a big one. Pengasan Dangote rift widens over salary suspension is also a problem that we need to talk about. But then I think Dangote assured Nigerians to say that, we're not going to witness any problem, because that before now, 2-3 years ago, you notice that when it's December period, there'll be scarcity of fuel. But then Dangote has promised that he's going to supply more than enough, more than what Nigerians actually need. There's not going to be scarcity. People will not need to queue to get fuel. So I think it's a good one. We just want to ensure that that will stay. Away from that headline, I also have this one that says Boko Haram fight lasting longer than civil war is troubling. That's coming from Obasanjo. It's a big one, actually, to say that we don't want to experience whatever it is that happened during the civil war. The civil war was between 1967 to 1970, and thousands of people died from across the country. And of course, I don't think it was a good one, because even people who started the war regretted it, to say that what was the essence of even starting this war in the first place. We don't want to witness something like that again, and that's why we are trying to preach national unity. Regardless of our diversity, we are still supposed to be united as a country. Let's cross over to the nation. This morning I have this headline that says Ribadu in talks with U.S. team. They are here on our soil trying to get fact on the Christian genocide as alleged by them, and of course the Nigerian government saying there's nothing like Christian genocide in the country. Nigeria sends fighter jet to ground forces as troops foil coup in Benin. That's another headline on the Nation newspaper. Let's cross over from the Nation to Daily Global. This morning I have this headline that says that 2027 zoning not on the table. Make up your mind. ADC tells Obi Honestly, ever since Atiku picked up, the party, candidacy from ADC, a lot of persons are asking, is it going to be the flag bearer? Is there a chance that Obi will join ADC? Some persons are even saying Atiku is old, then he should step down for the likes of Obi. Amechi, don't forget, recently also came out to say, I am not going to be vice president to anyone. It's a problem, even in that coalition party. A lot to unfold in the coming weeks. Don't forget, 2026 is right at the corner. Let's expect a lot from that. It's a fun place to leave it this morning, but we are not done with this segment. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we move on to the analysis where Victor will be joining me on the set. Please stay with us. I'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. I have with me in the studio Victor Akile, a political scientist and public affairs analyst. Welcome aboard.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Okay, let's start from Daily Trust this morning. I have a headline that says, a genocide, U.S. lawmakers visit Nigeria on fact-finding mission. And they decided to start with Benue. Especially, they need to get fact about what happened, during the Yawata massacre, and of course, all of the persons that have been kidnapped, killed, or maimed, over time. And some Nigerians, because I love to solve the internet, they are saying, okay, Benue should make sure that they give access to these people, let them know what they need to know. There's no point in hiding anything whatsoever, because, if anything, these people are here to help us. What do you make of that? Do you think at any point, maybe the government or maybe any state should decide to hide anything from these people, honestly? Because, the government is saying there's no Christian genocide, but the U.S. is saying there's Christian genocide. Even citizens are saying there's Christian genocide.
Okay, nice one. So, thank you, USA, for coming in.
Okay.
Then, so, I would say if any government is hiding anything now, at this point, then there's more to what we know. There's more to what is on ground than what we know.
Okay.
There's no government that should hide anything now. If you're hiding anything, then you are a prime suspect. So please let the US have their way. They've only come to help.
Okay.
My candid opinion.
Okay. So still talking about the US coming down to maybe save us in a way. Some politicians are still not okay with this. They are saying it as if maybe the US has maybe a sinister plan that is very hidden to the public, and that's why they're so interested in Nigeria as a country.
Because two things. Number one, they are not affected. They are all secure. Their children are not in Nigeria. They live in luxury. They are fine. They have security personnel around them. Although they've withdrawn them, but of course they are still secured, so they don't feel it. So that's why they could alter such unsensitive word or on what's that word now to say. All right.
Okay.
Secondly, maybe they are also suspects. And they are already afraid of what US would do that would expose them. That I'm just guessing that. My first point is they don't know how an average Nigerian feel, hence why they are insensitive with their statements. Secondly, I'm guessing that maybe they are also prosperous. They are part of the evil people. Some of them that are saying these things are part of the evil people, and they know USA will expose them and they don't want to be exposed. So I want to believe so.
But the federal government recently said we are going to name some persons that are sponsoring this band.
Yeah, it said that, so we are still waiting for the names. Let's have the names and let's know who should go to jail and who we should, you know. Yeah, we are expecting the name.
All right, let's talk about Benin now. I'm very sure you've seen videos because yesterday, certain soldiers went on Benin State TV to announce the dissolution of the government, suspension of the constitution. At the time, we even heard that the president, Talon, was the post. We had gunshot, according to the reports and then the videos that we've seen online. But then this headline, from this day saying that presidency, how Tinubu ordered Nigeria's military to foil Benin coup. Some Nigerians are against this move. They are saying that, why should Tinubu do that? Some persons are saying, okay, maybe because of the relationship that Tinubu has with France, especially the president. Don't forget, Benin used to be a colony of France. What do you make of this this order? Nigerians are saying, no, this is not what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be calm about the situation, not send troops to Benin.
No, he has to. He should.
Why?
It's a neighboring nation. It's a sister nation, more like a younger sister. Permit me to use that word. Remember when there was issue, I can't remember that nation then. It was the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo. He sent troops to, he supported them, and there was the case came down. He settled the issue. When South Africa was having issue, Obasanjo sent, maybe not troops, but he sent some, what are these people called? Went there and they reasoned with the issue and they settled it. So it's normal. A bigger nation should rise to help a smaller nation when they are in chaos. So what Tinubu did is normal. If there is issue in Benin, let's look at it this other way. If there's issue in Benin, in no time, of course they might not be able to penetrate into our borders, but it might not be safe for us to. So I don't think there's anything wrong in that. It's normal. It's just like your older brother, your younger brother has an issue, you are incapacitated to help, and then you offer an help. It's that simple.
Okay. But then I just was saying, it appears that president is more concerned about Benin than even his own country. That this is very fast, according to. I've read Twitter. I wish I can, pull them up now for you to see. To say that for a country that is also going through a lot in terms of insecurity, it was really proactive about a neighboring state. What do you make of that?
Well, I may not be fully in support of the fact that he's more concerned about the other nation than his own nation. That might not be a fair judgment to pass.
Okay.
That might not be fair enough. The presidency is working. Everybody's working. Even you and I, we are working for the betterment of the nation. That we do not have overnight result doesn't mean the nation, the presidency is working. Everything is in stages. Things didn't get bad overnight. And so it won't take overnight to resolve them. All right, if it wasn't a good one, you know me. I don't hide behind one finger. I will speak it out how it is. But we will be very unfair to pass that statement that he's more concerned about the other nation than us. He's working. If we read news, he's been appointing different people into positions. That is to say, he's working for the betterment. Just less than a week, he just appointed a new minister for defense. He's already working. He has called all the service chiefs. They are working. So that would be very unfair to say. He's working. Let's just be calm and see the result of what he's doing.
Speaking of the defense minister, there's another headline that's talking about how 100 children were released in Niger State. Initially, I think about 303 children were captured, 12 teachers, and then at the time we saw that 50 students came back home. And they were, according to the government, they even said they were released. But then there is a certain BBC Pidgin team that said that those 50 students that returned the next day were not captured. According to them, they fled to maybe a certain area just to hide, and then they came back when everything became normal. But then another 100 students were released yesterday, and then they had to be taken to the hospital rather, so that they can get proper care, and then they get proper debriefing. But then Nigerians are asking, why is it that the government is not talking about how they were released? And why is it that these people are being released in batches? Don't forget that the new Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, after the swearing, said something very cogent that we need to look at. He said that he's going to ensure that no more negotiation with bandits, no more paying of ransom, because at the end of the day, it's not helping us. It's just like weaponizing these people. They get more money to get more arms, and then look at the ordinary soldier sometimes might not even have access to some of the arms that they carry. What you make of that?
Well, he said there will be no negotiation. I believe there will be no negotiation. I said it someday that this man is someone who rose the ladder of rose the rank from
Okay.
whatever he started with and rose the rank. He didn't jump, he rose, and he has served in several dimensions. Followed a troop to a particular place to do something, followed another troop to another place to carry on military services and all that, went for trainings home and abroad and all that. So he's experienced and he has knowledge. So we will not negotiate with terrorists. Let's leave that to him. That's his job. It's not my job. My own is just my. I need safety. My family needs safety. All right. His job is to provide that safety. How? Nigerians should just not bother about that. We are happy 100 children are back home. You and I are just we are speculating on how those children are released, right? The parents of those children don't care how they were released. Okay. They are happy seeing their children this morning. I think we permitted to just stress ourselves over things that really doesn't matter so much. He has said we will not negotiate. We will have our kids back home. Do we have our kids back home? Yes. In less than 1 week, he has delivered 100 children from the kidnapped ones. He's working. How he's getting this done is his job.
Okay, I think I just want to be sure that they are not making certain deals that will come back to haunt, the citizens.
That's very important to think, and I salute that thought.
Okay.
But again,
getting the children back is what matters according to you right now. Yeah.
So when I believe when problem, of course, I understand the place of being proactive and being very, very smart ahead of the future, very importantly. But at the same time, sometimes we don't foresee some things until they come before we find their solution.
Okay, I think it's a fine place to leave it. We all want to believe that the remaining 153 students, 12 teachers, will also make it back home safely to their families. Let's talk about this headline. ADC to be. Make up your mind now. Another headline, another rider, sorry. Atiku visits Jonathan at Abuja home. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has asked the 2023 presidential candidate, that's Peter Obi, to make up his mind. Don't forget that Atiku picked up the candidacy form recently. And of course, Amechi also said something recently. He said, I'm not going to be VP to anybody, because a lot of persons are already speculating maybe he might be VP to one of those, strong contenders. Why do you think they are so on about Peter Obi? Peter Obi has not even come out to say anything about whether he wants to contest for the next election or not. He has not said anything. Maybe he wants to leave the Labour Party, move to another party. He's been so silent. He's more concerned about talking about the things that government should do, really.
Well, as a party, they are doing their job asking him, Obi. It's painful for me. I honestly don't understand Obi's game plan too. Sometimes I just sit there and I think for him, like, does this man even know what he's doing at all? To me, I might be very wrong, but to me, I feel we're on the losing side of this presidential race. Because obviously, you are not in PDP, you are not in APC. These are the strong parties. And the seemingly party that has strong people in it. Understand my word. I didn't say the party is strong, but has strong people in it. They are not giving you the tickets. So what are you really doing? And if you must float a party of yours, we should know that by now. Or do you want to go and contest from a lower party? Then do you stand a chance to win? So Obi's case is usually a concern for me, but maybe we'll come back to that later. So on the question, ADC to him, ADC is not wrong. It's a party, it's an existing party. They should know his plan, so that it doesn't affect their plan too. They have structure, they have a system, they have plan into the next election and all that. And they will be drawing their party manifesto, drawing their party structure, party organogram. Is a lot of work for them to do at the moment, structuring from grassroots to whatever level. So he should know where he fits in. So I think it's a very good question to ask him, considering a party that is structuring at the moment.
Okay.
So yes, he should decide what he wants to do.
Okay, do you foresee issues around, who is going to be the flag bearer of that party? Because we have some persons now, they might not have come out publicly to say we want to contest, but they have interest. So at the end of the day, we ADC not, go through what PDP is going through currently.
I think we saw that ADC already is making Mr. Atiku, should I call him Mr. Atiku now? The flag bearer. Are we not sure of that yet?
Oh, he's not certain. He just picked up the candidacy form. He became a full member of the party.
So we still have other people. Abichi already said he's not going to be vice to anyone, and he's in ADC. So maybe it is going to buy the tickets, the presidential ticket. And so I think, what's the question again?
I'm asking that, will ADC not go through the same thing that PDP is going through now? Because the major reason why PDP is in shambles today, according to some persons, is because of this let's zone it here, let's not zone it here. The issue of ego. Yes, we do not like that you are the flag bearer, but then we are going to support you, but we are not going to support you. That's what is affecting PDP as we speak now.
So will ADC not go through that?
Yeah.
If you will believe me, I think the entire coalition is just for one person. It's just to pull one person. I believe so. All this coalition is just so that one person can be the flag bearer, so that this one person will unseat the sitting president. I just want to believe so. So I don't think this issue would really come up, because all of them are big wigs from everywhere they are coming from. There's a game plan. Okay,
maybe it's too early to speculate something dire that might happen in the party. I mean, this is still 2025, though 2026 is knocking. Exactly. Let's find out whether they will experience the same issue or not, or maybe they will find a way to resolve this amongst themselves. A big thanks to you, Victor Akling, for being a part of the segment this morning. And of course, a big thanks to the audience for joining as well. Please stay with us, because big story will come up. My name is Oluwayemi Adelaku. We'll be right back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, right here on Dominion Television. Today we examine a critical question shaping Africa's political direction: military versus democracy. Who really holds power in Africa? As coups resurface across the continent and democratic stability comes under threat, we take a closer look at the roots, the recent wave of military interventions, and what it all means for West Africa, especially a country like Nigeria. I'm Samson Balogun, and thank you for joining us on the show this morning. Africa's struggle with military interventions dates back to 1952, when Egypt recorded the continent's first coup, sparking decades of military takeovers. In the last 5 years, West Africa has again become the global hotspot for coups. We have seen situations like that in Mali. In 2020 and 2021, it was cited that it was insecurity and government failure that made it happen. In Guinea, in the year 2021, third-term tensions and bad governance, that was the reason cited. In Burkina Faso, January and September 2022, worsening terrorism and some other reasons. In Niger, 2023, alleged poor governance and insecurity. And just yesterday, the region witnessed a failed coup attempt in Benin Republic, quickly foiled by loyal forces. Though order has been restored, the incident raises deeper concerns. Is West Africa sliding into another era of political instability? These developments have serious implications, ranging from heightened insecurity to weakened democratic institutions, economic disruptions, and a declining sense of regional stability. For Nigeria, coups across the continent pose direct danger: cross-border insecurity, arms trafficking, the spread of extremist groups, and pressure from refugee inflow. Every successful attempted coup weakens ECOWAS and challenges Nigeria's leadership in the region. Both AU and ECOWAS continue to apply sanctions, diplomatic pressure, mediation, and suspensions, but their effectiveness is increasingly questioned as more nations fall into cycles of instability. Thank you for being a part of the show. To help us examine this morning and make sense of what's currently happening across Africa is Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, a seasoned public affairs analyst and an APC chieftain, has joined me in the studio this morning. Honorable Omolaja, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning, Samson. Thanks for having me here today. Very delighted. And to you people at home who are watching us, thank for watching us, and we really appreciate you very well.
All right, there's a lot going on the continent of Africa. We're talking about coups and counter coups across Africa, and just yesterday there was a failed, or we call it attempted coup in Benin Republic, which was foiled by the loyal forces to the president, Talon. Now, how bad is democratic stability in Africa as we speak?
Seriously, I wouldn't say it's bad, but for every problem, we must try as much as possible to define solution to it. And thank God, apart from being part of the larger space of AU, which is African Union, there is a kind of sectional organization that is going to be taking care of West Africa. We are talking about ECOWAS. So with this, these are the things that people that created this have seen, and they know we have a lot of teething problems that we must be able to solve. And for now, the coup that is happening, it is due to human notion and human instincts that we all think about, and we want to be worshipped, we want to be seen, we want to be known. So it might be giving us a disadvantage in some instances. But for now, at least, with what happened in Benin Republic, where the external forces help to counter the coup, I think this is the beginning of good things to come.
Now, with your experience and understanding of the current situation, and having gone through what we call political stability, democratic stability and transition in the last few decades in Africa, why are coups resurfacing in Africa at this time? Do they have anything in common?
With what we have with the three nations that is being really governed by the coup right now, the only thing they have in common is very funny. They're always going to say that they are, because of insecurity, because of the problem they're having in the country, whereby the extremists are even fighting the government. That is the excuse they're all giving. When you are talking about Mali, Mali is going to tell you because of external forces that is coming, unstable security. The same thing with Burkina Faso. That is what it's going to say. The same thing with Guinea as well. So when you look at this, you really going to be surprised. What is the job of the military themselves? Are they not supposed to be? Are they not able to counter all external aggression that is going to be coming into the country? Were they not being paid? Were they not? But when you see this, and the era of a kind of when you see a government that is going to sit tight, which is a causative before, most of the time causative before, and you see the politician with extravagant spending, ostentation life, they are not going to give that. They are going to be talking about insecurity, in which it is their primary work they're supposed to do, to be able to counter any external aggression. So these are what all those three countries that have in common when you are talking about how they take over the power. And they are not even giving the roadmap how they are going to be able to transit into a civilian system. So I think it has to do with greed and unsatiable appetite of human being.
Okay, now if you look at the coup we are having these days, especially in the last 5 years in Africa, and you compare that with what we used to have since the first coup in Egypt down to the 60s, 70s, are there differences, or we are having the same old pattern?
There is differences now because they are giving different excuses entirely, but the excuse they are giving before is not tenable. Let's talk about when we talk about the 1966 coup that happened in Nigeria. I think it has to do with it has to do with what's it called? It has to do with probably the state, the same, the kind of infighting between the political party, and this what makes democracy to be even imbibed when people have different opinions. It is not meant for military to take over, because the military are always only meant for external aggression. When you are talking about what the coup that happened in Nigeria in 1983, what causes it? They were saying that it's because of extravagance life of the so-called the politician, and they have mismanaged a lot of things, and there is corruption. It is not the business of the military to take up the government because of corruption. It is not their subject. This is not what they meant to do. So when you see all this, and with what is happening in other places as well, I think, like I said, it has to do with greed. Look at Uganda. The one that happened during the time of Idi Amin. Did Idi Amin not dip into that corruption as well? You see the kind of oppression that is doing. And when you see all this francophone, they are talking about French taking over whatever they want to do. And they are trying to woo Russia to be a kind of loyal country they are going to be able to be worshipping. The same country that people are not really don't want to share with. You are talking about Russia. It's not the way the Russia of 1980 was right now. It has been disintegrated and everybody goes on his own way. Now, with what the problem is they are having in Russia, can Russia be able to give anything to Mali or give anything to Burkina Faso? All their excuses are untenable. They just want a kind of extravagant life that they believe the politicians are doing. And see what happened in Ghana when J.J. Rawlings transcended into civilian. He did it so easy. And it wasn't corrupt. But what we expect all these people to do is that even if you say that the government are so corrupt, you have to give transition. Go test your popularity within the people, whether you are accepted or not. It is not when you put gun on their head and you think you are going to be accepted. There are still going to be a problem whether you like it or not. See what is happening in Burkina Faso. It's coup over contact coup. They are still having the same security challenge. They are talking and they are saying that the previous administration, which is civilian, is not being able to take care of. So it's all the same pattern. And I don't think they are really going to survive with time to come. Because see the time space of how when when Burkina Faso took over, probably 2022, there's one 2021, there's another one 2023. And are they being able to take care of their people? Of recent, Mali has to beg Nigeria it is flexing muscle with that they need some petrol for them to be able to advance, because you cannot live in isolation.
Now, there's a question I would love to ask you. When military takes over in a country, the role they have to play is to bridge the gap and then transition into what we will call another democratic government. Most times, they really do not want to leave the corridor of power. Now, in the history of Nigeria, in June 9, 1998 or thereabouts, General Abdul Salami Abubakar took over after the passing of former head of state, that was General Sani Abacha. And then within 1 year, he was able to organize an election and handed over to a democratically elected president in the country. That was smooth, and people hail him for that. And in fact, he's still riding on that particular goodwill with the people of Nigeria. People love him for that. Will we see this kind of situation in other African countries? Don't forget that when military seizes power, most of the times they don't want to leave. And what's the cause? Why don't they want to leave the corridor of power?
Thank you very much. When you are talking about Salami, it is not only him that transited into civilian. When you are talking about General Obasanjo as well, he did the same in 1978 when he transferred from, because he got the government, that was in 1976 to 1978, that he transferred to civilian, and they have to take over when you are talking about probably 1979. The pattern you are going to see in this is that those who really plan the coup, they really don't want to leave the scene. When you are talking about Gowon stay there, stay put, and why his government was toppled is that because he really don't want to relinquish power. He wanted to be there with the way people are demanding for civilian rule.
Government.
And when he was toppled, because he orchestrated the government by taking power, that was in 1966. Now, apart from that one, when you are talking about Babangida as well, I would say probably General Muhammadu Buhari meant well when he took over government in 1983 before Buhari came. Buhari himself doesn't want to leave power as well, because he really took part and planned the so-called coup. You are going to talk about General Sani Abacha, who want to be like a life president, whether despite the fact he's organizing a kind of a cook or a fraud election, and he still want to stay in power. Now, what Obasanjo and Abdul Salami has in common is that they are not prepared. They are not prepared to rule. That is why Obasanjo wrote.
They got there by accident.
By accident, because that is why he wrote, "It's not my will." It's not his will to become a president. He got there by accident. The same thing with Abdul Salami as well, because if you want to look at who's supposed to benefit, it is Al-Mustafa, because he has the power more than those who are senior him. But the so-called probably the other military already organized Abdul Salami to be there. Both of them are not. They just get there by accident. So they want to live there as quickly as possible. Those are those people.
So they have that in
yes,
common.
they are not greedy. They are not that greedy to become president. To get there by God. They are just accidental president.
Head of state.
So it gives them that power to be able to transit to civilian rule.
Okay, now people, when you talk about coups in countries, especially in Africa, some consider it an aberration, that it should not. It's something that really should not happen, and it's really out of reach. But at this time, if you look at the current state of African countries,
some people, some countries, civilians in the country, some of them are calling for a coup in their country and then military takeover. What exactly is it because they never experienced what happened during the military regime in their countries, especially people in Nigeria, or because they just feel they want a change?
I think it's because of ignorance, because a lot of them are ignorant of what military is all about. Because when you are talking about the worst civilian regime, 30 years of worst civilian regime is better than the best of the best years of militarycracy.
Why so?
Because it doesn't give people the power. When you see how the so-called politicians are suffering, when you give them power, they can be able to change that will. But when you are talking about the military, see what General Sani Abacha embezzled. For the last 27 or 28 years, we are still getting what is sold from Nigeria. Do you think any civilian government can be able to do that? That is why a lot of our governors are in problem. With the creation of ESCC, with the creation of ICPC, tell me their toothless bulldog. All those people who are going to their office since every day to be able to answer the query or the petition that they have been petitioning them against, they knew what is going on. They knew the kind of problem they are. They knew that they are looking at prison just directly. But before a civilian government relinquishes power to any democratic setting, even if he stole trillions of dollars, he will have make sure that he covers his own track. That is why all those people like IBB cannot be tried. Before they can be able to give you power, they said that you have to give them immunity. Immunity has to be there. So it is that is why immediately we transited into civilian. That is why we see all this GSM. Do you know how many companies Sani Abacha children or their family have taken over by force, telling them, driving them out of Nigeria, whether we like it or not? It was during the civilian government that we can see people like Aligun Dangote now having this kind of
becoming a conglomerate.
Having it is
an expansion of his business.
Because the time of military, I can remember the Fosani brothers, because they can be able to help the government with arms and ammunition. They can be able to help the government with everything, with money. So they are just taking care of all those military government. And they are giving them those accolades. And they are not from Nigeria. Immediately Obasanjo came in. Do you know how many foreigners, whether Lebanese, whether you know how many arms they have confiscated from their houses? Because they are giving us problem. And mind you, the external forces, all those military government you have seen that have taken over, they are having problem. All the arms they are using is being bought from the black market. Because no developed world is going to give them what they have. Now we can be able to fight terrorists. Why? We can be able to do that because the developed world cannot be able to shy away that we are having problem and we have to secure our country. And because you are civilian rule, they are going to give you whatever you want. So that is what makes it different, because they knew with civilian rule you cannot just wield any power just like that. And because the house is going to be there to challenge you, whether you like it or not, they will challenge you. So with what we are having, any military taking over is just going to isolate himself.
Now, the failed coup in Benin Republic, is it a signal that there is more political instability or democratic instability to come in West Africa, or it's a signal that the people now understand and know better to maybe fight back when it comes to coup and counter coup? And then
I don't think it's people that fought back. It is the ECOMOG that are now doing the best job. They are now doing the job because they knew that with the way there is reduction in the ECOWAS country alliances, because we have about 15 countries making up of ECOWAS. And the problem that we are having in Africa comes from particularly in ECOWAS state, West Africa. We have seen about 3 states being governed, making it 4 now, but they are excluded themselves, having this kind of alliance of Sahel state, a kind of a replica of ECOWAS, which because they are ignorant. What can these people do? Before, the ECOMOG want to challenge the power of these coupists, but they knew that by the time, if you have a conventional war, a lot of people are going to suffer because they are going to be using the people as a shield. Then you are going to be seeing that they killed probably about 200 people in Nigeria, and they don't want that. And it's going to be even, I mean, it's going to be of disadvantage to any civilian government. That is why they don't want to interfere when you are talking about the Niger or Burkina Faso or any other country that the coup has made. But they knew that with the economic power, they are going to be able to stiff them to death. So they are just leaving them. They have not even survived about 5-6 years. By the time you see the next 10 years, you are going to see that there are people who are going to rise against them, whether you like it or not. So with the ECOMOG now being fortified, with all the resources being put together because of what happened in Niger, I think anything that's going to happen to any West African country, ECOMOG is going to be able to take care of it.
Now, we are
swiftly, immediately, swiftly. They are not even going to wait for 2 weeks, 1 week. They are going to go there swiftly and dislodge them. That is what they are going to be doing, that instead of what happened in kind of Niger Republic.
Okay. If you look at the current situation, most of the times ECOWAS would sanction countries like that and then maybe place a ban on them on some of the, especially when it comes to economy. But as it stands, will the sanctions stand since they are now forming like a group in the Sahel region? Will they survive this just by doing business amongst themselves?
Oh, I tell you what, they cannot survive for long. We are looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. The same people that is rising against civilian republic are going to rise against them, because the kind of life they are going to live is going to be different. Before, the Burkina Faso president doesn't want you to see the face of his child, the face of his wife, because he knew immediately there is problem. Those are the people that are going to be targeted. When Babangida was there, it is easy for probably any president of Nigeria to have his child being schooling at a particular place, and he's going to be able to save. But a lot of those coupists, they knew if they have their children here in that country, they are in danger. That is why they always hide them. They are not going to feel safe because it's always coup upon kotapu, whether they like it or not. So, and all those sanctions placed on them, I'm talking about ammunition. I remember through the time of Jonathan, they have to source for ammunition through back doors, because any developed country doesn't trust his government. But now we're having different kind of fighters jet and all this because they knew we need it, and it's there to be provided for, whether we like it or not. So for you to know that they are just living in danger, and anything can be done to tackle them among themselves, not by, apart from the kind of civilian pressure that is going to be on them in a few years to come, we are going to see. So it's not going to be easy for them, and with those sanctions, it's working.
Now, what is the risk of a domino effect where political instability in one particular country triggers the same thing in the neighboring countries? Are we already having that, or countries like Nigeria should really be on their toes?
I think we are having that. I think we are having that. That is why somebody can have the gut and said he wanted to topple the government that has been stable for the last 35 years in Benin. But thank God it has been folded. That's why I say the ECOMOG are living up to standard right now, and they are not going to wait for anybody before they can be able to make that instant swiftly to contain any kind of that thing that's going to happen, because they don't want to be reducing from that 15 is now 12, so they don't want to reduce anymore. That's why you see what's happening in Benin, and a kind of the president of Cameroon can still be having that field day. He would have been top as well, despite the fact that he is old and I don't think he knew what he's doing anymore, and some people are just guiding him to be there. So I think with ECOMOG in charge, it is likely that in ECOWAS they are going to be able to be challenging them.
Now, how might insurgency and cross-border crime worsen if military continues to take over in countries across Africa?
Yeah, it's going to be worsening. It's going to be worsening because all of them are going to be going to the black market to source for ammunition before they can be able to fight. And we have seen what is happening right now, that the security situation, I think, in Nigeria is getting somewhere, because we knew it has to do with political infiltration, whereby they just want to call a dog a bad name. It's part of what is causing that insecurity in Nigeria. And for the fact that the northern themselves are known that they are, because of their large space that they have, it is easy for insecurity to thrive there. Apart from that as well, they are not equipped when it's come to how they can be able to, for them, because security is about all of us. It is not peculiar to government, it's not peculiar to army, or peculiar to NDCNC, or peculiar to police. It depends on the information we are giving. In a case like the UK, you are going to see those old people in different houses. You think they don't see what they know, and they can be able to tell government and report to the security agent when they see nefarious activities going on in their area or in their community. They have an ego high. That is why a place like Southwest is enjoying the same largesse as well, because we have the landlord meeting association we are having every time. The vigilante can be able to be with those landlords. Is about security and development of their community. So when you see this, people in the north or in the east are not good with that. That is why they have insecurity. But with the kind of with the way everybody in the north, whether you are governor, politicians, and the so-called obas who have been enjoying those black market, the kind of activities of digging from gold or whatever they are doing by the Chinese, they knew that they are now having problem. So I think the way they come together and the threat of Trump as making their eyes to be more open, that if there is going to be external incursion, it's going to affect those places. It's not going to affect a place like Oyo State or Ogun State or Ondo State or probably in the east, but it's going to affect them down there. They are now taking it serious.
Do you think ECOWAS has done enough to discourage coups across Africa, or it's just a bloc already losing credibility?
He has lost his credibility before, but now they are now taking a drastic action. They have donated different kind of army to that ECOMOG. So now, with that ECOMOG in force, I don't think they are going to be able to wait for anything that happen within the West African country. They are going to go there swiftly and immediately to contain it. I think this credit of Benin could be fold should be given to ECOMOG, most really Ghana and Nigeria. I think they are now leading us to standard. Before they have not seen it. Now they see how this thing is spreading, and I think they are ready to work hand in hand, and they are doing the best they can.
You once talked about African countries having to source for weapons through the back door of the black market. Now, there was a Nigerian senator who mentioned that Nigeria bought Tucanos, but the censors were not released to Nigeria. So, since the Tucanos were bought under late former President Muhammadu Buhari, they are still yet to be put to use. Is it a deliberate attempt by the Western countries to make sure that Africans really do not have what it takes to fight terrorism on their own terrain?
I think it's more than that. Because the defense minister spoke to us when we are talking about drone. He told us the cost of a drone, how much it's going to cost. But if you are producing it, it's different entirely. If you are sourcing for local material, it's going to be able to be cheaper. But when you are talking about 150 million being pumped into one drone, whether it hits its target or not, we must rethink before we are going to be able to back on that. When you are talking about Tucano as well, you are going to see the devastating effect that it's going to have. And you knew in the north, it is like many of them doesn't even want this problem to be solved. We have seen a situation whereby about 2 years ago, more than about 500 people has been killed mistakenly. When 2 bombs were dropped in Sokoto, it kills more than about 300 and something people, which is not something the hierarchy, the army are going to be able to be proud of. for you to know that those who are going to handle this, are they well trained? We must think about that. And if they drop bomb like Tucano or spray Tucano jet on a certain community in which all these bandits are using people as a shield, they are infiltrating, they are moving with people who are not criminals. That is why a lot of things that has to be done is going to be, it needs to be based on intelligent gathering. It is not that we are just going to be fighting blindly. People, innocent people, are going to go along with it. And I know the government doesn't want to be blamed when all this is happening, because it's going to give us a bad name, and it's not going to encourage any developed world to be helping us with our security operation.
Now, let's talk about implications. Do sanctions really work, or do they end up punishing citizens while strengthening military juntas?
A citizen has to be punished as well, because instability can only be caused by the people. You can see during the time of Abacha can't be able to leave Aso Villa because he knew if he pay a kind of state visit, somebody can just come and the coup can be organized and it's going to go. That is why, for you to know that, it's like the people, probably because of their inexposure, because they are not exposed. If you have instability in a country, it shows that you don't want those government. You can think about how some civilian and politicians can be so reckless in their speech when they are criticizing people like President Tinubu, and they are inviting military to take over. That is part of what encouraged those coup plotters, who we don't know how far it is right now, that they are planning coup in Nigeria. Coup is not going to be able to work the way it's working before, because all the armory has been spread. Probably one is in Kaduna, you might have the headquarters in Abuja, probably one is in Sokoto, one is in Ibadan. Before they can be able to organize, it's not going to be easy. And the jet, the power they are going to use is based in Lagos. And for you to give command in Abuja, to give it to Lagos for the coordination, it is not going to be the way it was. The way it was before, everything concentrated in Lagos. Both on the sea, both on the ground, everything concentrated in Lagos. So they can be able to do that. If you plan any coup in Nigeria, it's not going to be easy for you, because Nigerian population are not that cheap. The number of places you are going to be covered, it is so enormous for you to know that those coup is going to fail, whether you like it or not. So I think we are getting better. We are getting better.
Okay, just before we go, let me ask you this: what does the future of governance in Africa look like?
The government, we are coming together. That is why the South Africans, they have their own bloc. We don't want to. They don't want to concentrate all the power because of the bureaucracy in AU. ECOWAS is now taking stand. The stand started when Niger, because they know the enormity of Niger, how big Niger is, that it affects mostly Nigeria and Ghana. That is why they make sure that ECOWAS stand very well. And they knew the incursion of these people that come and make destruction in different countries are from Niger. So now they have taken the bold step. They are now meeting at timely to think about the security network of Africa, how they can be able to cope all the challenges. I think with what happened in Benin Republic, it is going to be difficult for those kind of things to happen in ECOWAS state as well. And I knew that those people, those countries who really have military government are now having it difficult. That is why Niger can be able to speak out and beg Nigeria for petrol to be supplied into their domain.
All right, Honorable Mola Jolari, thank you for joining me on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for
It's been a wonderful session with you. All right, as Africa stands between recurring military takeovers and fragile democratic systems, the big question remains: who truly holds power on the continent? And can regional institutions protect democracy before the institution deteriorates further? Samson Balogo is my name, and you are watching The Big Story on Daybreak Live. Stay with us. The conversations continue after the break.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from last short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. Do well to link up with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. You can also watch us live on our Facebook and YouTube channels at Dominion Broadcast. Now it's time for Trend Watch on this show. This morning I have with me in the studio once again Uluwayemi Adelakun, with whom we'll be making sense of trends on social media. What's buzzing?
Okay, I'm glad to be back. Well done. What we have in our hands this morning is saying Nigeria will be lending to nations by 2026, and that's coming from the First Lady, Remi Tinubu. And she made that statement recently. She spoke on Sunday in Ile-Ife, Osun State, shortly after she was conferred with the chieftaincy title of Yeye Asiwaju at a well-attended event commemorating the 10th coronation anniversary of Oni of Ife, Oba Adeye Ogunwusi, and then a lot of persons, dignitaries, were in attendance, the likes of ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo, joined by the wife of the vice president Nana Shatima, Patient Jonathan, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke, and the like. So a lot of them were present at the event, yesterday, and she made this bold statement. And Nigerians are asking, is this possible? Because what a lot of Nigerians believe now is that we do not have money. We don't have enough. The military will complain of resources. One sector. Look at doctor strike. The doctors are still on strike. Okay, I think they resolved all of the issues now, but then they are still demanding for certain things, even though they are willing to go back to work. But then look at the doctor strike that lasted for weeks. Look at ASU. ASU is still on the neck. Or it's still on the neck of the federal government to say that you need to settle 2009 agreement. 2009, this is 2025. All other sectors too. So I believe that we have the money. And just like I don't believe that we don't have the money, honestly. But then, what are we using the money to do? But then, is it possible for us to lend to nations come 2026? It's possible if we are willing to do so. But then we must ensure that Nigerians are okay first. There's food, the prices of food are low. People can afford certain things. The price of fuel is reduced so that, people can afford to buy the quantity they want to buy. Before we think of lending to nations, in the 1970s, during the oil boom, nations came down to Nigeria. Nigeria was the perfect definition of are we still witnessing the same today? I'm telling you the truth. Allow me. I just decided to say that in Yoruba for you to feel what I'm trying to say. So nations came down to Nigeria to settle down here because they were interested in this particular country. But then can we say the same for what is going on now? Can we learn to them? Let's ensure that Nigerians are okay first before we begin to look at lending to nations, honestly.
You see, it's quite... I want to believe that the First Lady knew what she was talking about before she made that bold statement, because it's a bold claim right in front of the camera, so she knows what she's talking about. And it's quite understandable if they have a projection that, Nigeria will be so rich that we'll be able to lend to other countries. But it is quite important that we understand the assignment, which is to make sure that the Nigerian people, just like you said, they are fine and all of them are put in the right place. But unfortunately, Nigerians really do not, they cannot wait for this to happen. They really cannot wait for this to happen because they have suffered for far too long, and they really want to make sure that everything is done just like the president promised. It's only in Nigeria where, sometimes you make tall promises. You make promises that you know that you cannot fulfill them, and at the end of the day, you give reasons, flimsy excuses for not getting it done. Nigeria is at a critical stage, and the presidency, they have said so much about how they want to revive the Nigerian economy. They have brought out so many policies. They have brought out so many ideas, and some of them are to be implemented in the year 1st of January 2026. And I want to believe that that coincides with what the First Lady said. Yeah. Maybe through taxing, maybe through some other means of generating income, they feel like Nigeria will be stable at that time. But the problem still remains. Will that be at the expense of the Nigerian people? Because if you drain the Nigerian people to lend other countries, that will be a problem, because Nigerians will react. They might likely revolt. And we are just talking about how unstable some African countries are, especially economically, in terms of what we will call militaries taking over in other countries, military juntas taking over in other countries. So we want to see exactly what they are bringing to the table that makes us to be so confident that this would happen. Don't forget, it's not just about what you say, it's about what you do at the end of the day. So probably there are motions in place, probably there are moves already being made that will make sure that this is achievable. But Nigerians are keeping their fingers crossed. There are so many promises, and the first 4 years of the president will soon be over in 2027. And by the end of that, people will judge and be able to gauge, in terms of promises made by the president, how many of those, at least to what extent has he been able, we still, till today, when you talk about budgetary allocations, people will say, in terms of implementation, we were able to do 30% or 50%. So in terms of promises made by the president, people will judge at the end of the day and see how much of that was achievable in the long run. So Nigerians are keeping their fingers crossed.
Yes, one more thing is, recently I think the president of US said, he's going to make some cut in aid. I think he did that alongside other popular countries that, have a relationship with Nigeria. They made some cuts in our aids that we receive. So I don't want Nigeria to give an impression that we are heading towards self-sufficiency when we are not. And because, this happens with even individuals. When you are not up to a certain state and you are giving the impression that you are all almighty, people that want to help you, you have the impression that maybe you have, let me keep what I have, because it appears that you have more than enough. So if we are not there yet, let's not appear like we are heading towards there. And because all these nations, they are listening, they watch the news, they follow our news more than we do. Because, honestly, you'll be shocked that if you get to some places in all these developed countries, they have our newspapers in their archives. They store them. So don't think maybe you are saying this to Nigerians alone. People are listening to you, they are watching you. Let's be careful of the things that we see. Yes, we have the money, but can we begin to look at how to make those monies, benefit Nigerians themselves?
Well, that's for me is the most important thing for the Nigerian people right now, and they are also, keeping tabs on how things are unfolding in the country. Just like people on the other side of the world are also looking at Nigeria and seeing what exactly we are doing, right or wrong. This will be the fine place to leave it on this show this morning. Thank you for being a part of the show so far. Do well to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Dominion Broadcast. And don't forget to join us again tomorrow, same time, same station, same host. And also, the Christmas Fun Fair is still very much on at Dominion Broadcast Group. At just 3,000 naira, you can bring your words here to have the enjoyment of a lifetime. Samson Balogun is my name. Until tomorrow, I say keep being good out there, keep being safe. Bye for now.
And also to add to that, you can come in anytime you want. We have started for a while now, a few days ago, and we are heading on the 24th. Come in, bring your kids and come and enjoy, what we're giving out to them. My name is Orayemi Adelaku. I'm saying good morning.